Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today's finally the day we go over Ctharrasque. So this thing is interesting. It came in version 7.0, so it's been out for a couple weeks now, and of course we've been using it, messing around with it for the last couple weeks, trying out quite a few dozens of teams, and he is definitely a very interesting character. He's basically set up to be an inverse Zuul'Goth, in that it is a yellow, green, brown. Whereas, of course, Zuul'Goth is the opposite colors, red, blue, and purple. And they have a very similar effect. He basically ends up doing a insta-kill, just like Zuul'Goth does. Except its secondary effect is quite a bit different. Ends up creating a bunch of Curse Gems, Yellow Giant Gems, and Fairy Fire Gems, which are the three colors he uses. Brown, green, brown, green, and yellow. So it corresponds to his three colors. There is one really big issue with this, though. That currently exists within the game that might change in the future, but currently is the case right now. And that is the way that power gems spawn onto the board. So Curse Gems are brown, but they can overwrite brown gems. Yellow Giant Gems are yellow, but they can overwrite yellow gems. And Fairy Fire Gems are green, and they can overwrite green gems, which leads to quite a problem of drastically reducing the chance that this thing will actually land an extra turn. However, this can be offset a little bit by casting them twice in a row. Since you already have some of the power gems on the board, it'll be more likely that you get them. This can also be reduced if there's ever more viable ways of applying any of these three gems to the board. I might have a little bit of a higher chance to end up landing it on that specific power gem. It does have access to pretty much the exact same traits that Zuul'Goth has, being able to have that impervious, which is pretty nice, so you don't end up getting things like frozen, unless you get both cursed and stunned, or cursed and frozen, I should say. But in those situations, overall, you're mostly just trying to get him to loop into himself. This is very unlikely, though. He has such a ridiculously low chance with how power gems currently spawn to actually land an extra turn. When he does, he seems like the strongest mythic in the entire game. When he doesn't, you're basically cursing and fairy firing your entire team. As, you'll just be able to curse yourself, as it will hit through impervious, and the fairy fire will land, and then they just do extra damage to you, because the fairy fire does 50% more spell damage whenever you end up receiving it. But in an ideal situation, you just cast him, he gets all his mana back, you cast, all your mana back, so on and so forth until the entire team is dead. I would say he's definitely within the top 10 strongest mythics within the game, and I would say he would literally be the absolute strongest if power gems spawned in the way you think they would. In that if brown gems stop overriding brown, if yellow stops overriding yellow, green overriding green, so on and so forth. If they ever change that, then this thing's going to be insane. Like, they'll need to raise its mana cost by at least 5 if they ever change that. But let's go and mess with this guy. Of course, as far as getting him, you can use 8 power orbs. One thing pretty noteworthy about this is this week, as of not the Festival of Beasts, but the Festival of Feathers, with this, this is the first power orb since the Ctharrasque's release, where you can get a guaranteed power orb. So if you haven't already been working towards it, definitely make sure to get it. Obviously, there are plenty of other ways to be able to get power orbs, such as converting your blue orbs into power orbs, combined with the other 3, though normally you're bottlenecked on blue, into Soul Forge, which could be found over here. If you go over to Game, Soul Forge, Other, you can convert your smaller blues into major blues, and your major blues, as well as those other 3, into power, though normally you're more so bottlenecked on the blues more so than anything, as far as getting those. So that's the other way they can end up getting them. Anyways, let's go and mess with a couple teams, and just for the sake of pure chaos, let's go do them in PvP. A horrible, horrible idea, but let's go do it. So we're going to start from the top with a rope dart version using both Zuul'Goth and Ctharrasque. The pretty standard combo of just using them together. They both basically are the same troop, just opposite colors. The only main difference is that Zuul'Goth has Jinx, which is actually better, oddly enough, and this thing has Huge, so that does get his durability up a little bit more. Also, Manifestation, similar to Zuul'Goth, does work regardless of slot. So as you saw right there, they both gain 5 to all stats. It doesn't matter if they're the lead, they will always gain their 5 to all whenever you take a skull. His, of course, effect is a little bit better on Zuul'Goth because of, he actually creates skulls, whereas this thing doesn't. However, you can still utilize it on both, regardless of if the skull you're taking is specifically as a result of them taking a skull. So we'll go ahead and get our first cast off with them. As you can see, we have about 100% chance to not land an extra turn. And he just got Fairy Fire on us, he got Curse on us. A lot of things happened there. However, we could just take over our mana back, land our 1% chance for an extra turn. Come on. Oh, we didn't land it. Okay, we'll have him do it again. Did he get mana drain? No, we're fine. Do that again. And hey, he finally landed an extra turn at the end when it didn't even matter. But no, I honestly, after all this time, I still don't know what I think of this mythic. It's really ridiculously good. But gosh, does it fail so often. Every time I see it miss, it is just so painful. But that one time when it actually lands in like 10 battles, it will be magnificent. Anyways, this one's more of an underworld version. You can actually use this as pure brown if you switch out Leprechaun for something else, which of course a lot of modes these days are starting to become pretty restrictive in that regard, like specific color, specific kingdom, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, if you're ever restricted to more of a brown-oriented team, you can end up going down this route. Somewhat yellow too, though. You'd have to switch out your Angry Mob mana accumulator. Oh no, we didn't get the initial Irongut because I'm not actually using attack gain right now. So we didn't fully optimize for the troop. Wow, that's a lot of mana drain. Oh no, I might need to restart here. That's a lot of mana drain. We do have a backup plan here. That's the whole reason why we have Angry Mob. Our whole goal with Angry Mob is to go and get the red directly into it. And from there, we just go keep casting it, keep getting over mana accumulation, have an infinite tank. No, it's not going to matter much if he keeps draining us like that. We're also frozen on the main thing we need to go take right there. Oh, I could have taken that off a wild card first. But regardless, we get a little bit of mana drain, but he gets way more mana drain on us, so we're not going to be able to use it. And let's go into a new one. It's going to be too annoying there. Let's go into this one. Hey, enemy Ctharrasque. So he's using it with... Why Bane of Mercy? Interesting. Bane of Mercy, of course, has 4 times Curse initially. I guess to guarantee that it gets the Fairy Fire down, in case the Curse Gems don't land, which is pretty likely for it not to land. He is getting his Thrall up, though, of course, immediately, which is the main benefit of having it in that order. We'll take our red, luckily we have our mana accumulator now, though he does have his first, but we still have our turn. So, of course, we can just insta-kill it out. We can miss as it normally does. And as long as that book doesn't go down, we should be good to go. Are you using a hero class immune to Devour? You are not, so we're going to go for it. Worst comes to worst, if that doesn't kill, we can go for the Skull. Skull's not enough damage. Oh. Well, we can't go for Skull then, can we? It's not going to stop me, I guess. We'll go for Skull. Oh, wait, that was enough. Wait, what lowered it? Oh, you know why I didn't put it into factor? Irongut does a 4 lifesteal whenever he takes a brown, and since we cascade the brown, that moved him to enough damage. So we'll take the red there, get our Irongut, get the other thing, should be good to go. Get rid of that, boom, get our mana. Come on, Ctharrasque, I want you to be a finisher. Come on, land extra turn, you got this. Nope. We haven't landed one single extra turn yet. Well, other than at the end of battle in that one battle. That doesn't count, though. We already won the battle. Okay, we got a double Tesla team. Of course, Tesla's pretty nice. Hey, that's actually kind of funny because what am I showing for the low rarity team? Tesla. Of course, Tesla isn't, like, really low rarity. But I would say it is such an essential thing to pick up as a newer player that I'm kind of put in the low rarity kind of area. Even though it's a legend, that can be a little bit annoying to get if you're trying to get it, like, at this exact moment in time. Well, everything else in the team, pretty cheap, other than the Ctharrasque, obviously. Mountain Curse, you just get automatically. Leprechaun, really low rarity troop. And we're basically using the Fairy Fire option for once, because the Fairy Fire option, well, there's 2 things that we get to do with this team. One is he gets to instantly kill, so that makes their team go from 4 to 3. So that will concentrate Tesla's damage a little bit more. But the other thing is he's going to create Fairy Fire gems and Curse, so if they have Impervious, you'll still get through. But it's going to create those Fairy Fire gems, and that makes your spell damage do 50% more. And while Tesla does not gain a benefit from magic, she does gain a benefit from spell amplification. So we're going to be able to go get the Fairy Fire down and destroy them. Though there is one other alternative that can occur, and probably will occur, and that is we're going to cast it. He's going to Fairy Fire us after we miss our ability, and then we die. So let's go see that happen. So we're going to do that, get the insta-kill. Let's see, does he get it on us? Yes, he does. He gets the Fairy Fire on us. Does he get the mana? Yep, he cast it on the right color. Does he just wipe our whole team? Yeah, that sounds like something Ctharrasque would do. One thing I was considering putting on this team, which we still could, is that makes it even cheaper too, rather than going Tesla, is you can actually replace the Tesla with Beatrix. This will allow you to cleanse, so that kind of situation wouldn't be as likely. However, it does still happen. But yeah, this Mythic is something. It is definitely something. It is the best, worst Mythic in the game. Or the worst, best Mythic? No, sorry, I said the wrong way. It is the worst, best Mythic in the game. It is so absurdly good, but also just manages to be so bad simultaneously. I think this is actually enough damage, isn't it? Almost. Let's go for one more Tesla, and that should be matched. Just a double Tesla wipe at this point. If we just get that last little bit of mana. There we go. Let's do a Tesla this time. And then we'll go into our final team of double Ctharrasque. I figured we'd try one with double. Makes him maybe have a higher chance of landing. Okay, we need a real team. There we go. We have a Diamantina team. Though that one's not real. Come on, give us a real one. Though nothing like infinite loop. We already fought you. Let's see. Alright, we got Life and Death Weaver. That's fine. Let's go with that. Life and Death Weaver's still kind of scary, though. Why on earth would Chris Kringle of all things? Chris Kringle, really good. I'm not quite sure in that context, though. Anyways. So we're using it with the new wand, using it with the new Mythic. getting our brown mana, getting our, essentially take the yellow so we have a higher chance of landing one, same as purple, same as red? Yeah, same as red, why not? So we'll get this, get all of our mana, get things rolling, do it again. Though we did lose our turn there, unfortunately, and he's almost operational. We could try going for the initial curse, but we're going to have it off of him anyway, so I'm just going to go for this again, hope it lands. That is exactly what we want to see. And now we just start insta-killing the entire team, so we go for that. No extra turn, come on. Now's your moment, Ctharrasque. Come on, get the triple insta-kill. Nice! He got all his mana back, but there's not enough to do it on the board, but we can just go get rid of all that yellow. And there we go! He actually did it! See, if you have more than one, it has a bit of a better chance of landing extra turn. Not by much, but hey, it did something. Oh no, let's go try that one more time. I feel like we got too lucky there. Though this does have, oh, okay, here's an interesting one to actually do it against. So Leona's Tower, one of only 8 player-owned things currently that have immune to insta-kill. So we can't actually do the insta-kill method on this thing, so we're actually going to have to, you know, like poke it down and other things. Normally you'd have another damage source on your team, which this exact version does not, which is a little unfortunate in this context. However, let's see how it goes. So there will be one big issue that this has, is a lot of teams like this normally run a bunch of stealthy in the middle. Although he forgot to put on his hero for some reason. Normally you want to put hero as well. You go double stealthy in the middle, and sometimes either 1 or 2 things that have the invulnerable trait, and then your insta-kills can't end up landing. So that's a nice strategy to end up doing to counter a team like this. Though he didn't quite go down that route. He like half went down that route. We'll go for this, get our ability there. Did he actually extra turn? He did, and look at that, insta-kill and insta-kill. See, when he works right, it's amazing. But gosh, is he so volatile. My overall verdict on him is he's definitely worth using in modes where you have infinite tries to do it. For example, the mode I've probably used it the most, I would say, is probably daily dungeons. It just works really well for, you know, you have infinite tries here. They're kind of high as far as their durability at level 20. They work pretty well for that. Places I would not advise using it, maybe defensively, but offensively, do not use it for Guild War. I would not advise. I probably still will this week, just for the fun of testing it. But the amount that it can backfire is so absurd. Defensively, while I didn't try incorporating it to any of the teams yet, it could end up working out pretty well. Defensively, the biggest benefit that it would have is it's very volatile, and while most of the time it's not going to do anything, there will be that really rare situation where just like auto wins like 1 in 10 times. And honestly, you kind of need that in Guild War, as the most volatile teams are sometimes some of the best, as just being able to get that surprise win out of nowhere when it just gets enough of a lead is generally better compared to something that's consistent that people have seen a billion times. So it is definitely worth considering for something like Guild War defensively. But offensively, you miss a single time, you are dead. Especially with how many infinite loops there are, especially if they use any of those 3 colors, which realistically they probably are, especially on a day that they're countering you because, you know, there's so many books, so they're probably using at least like a book on one of those 3, if nothing else. But anyways, that is the new Ctharrasque Mythic. Overall verdict on it is it's one of the strongest Mythics in the game, but it's in the category very similar to that of, she's actually not at Soulforge this week. I'm not sure what I'm expecting her to be. But it's in a very similar camp to Fairy Godmother. So I feel like slightly different category, but it's in the camp of very, very absurdly good, but when it backfires, it just gives the enemy team absolutely everything it would ever want. Which puts it in a very weird situation. But the fact that it has a 30 mana cost, the fact that it can get all of its mana back, the fact that it can kind of, in the very rare circumstances that I choose to do so, loop into itself for insta-kills, it does have a lot of potential going forward. And the biggest thing that will push it over from being a very volatile, decent troop that you would still use to being something you would almost always want to use is if they ever change how power gems spawn. I'm not sure if they ever will, given how many billions of power gems there are currently and will be in the future. But if they ever make them so they do not overwrite the same color gems, that will drastically increase the rate at which it will extra turn. Obviously, it won't be extra turning every ability or every cast, but it will substantially increase the rate at which it has a chance to do it, since the other gems will still overwrite it. So, for example, like the yellow giant gems will still overwrite like the browns and the greens on the board. But if they ever make it so the same colors don't overwrite each other, so the browns don't overwrite the browns, the yellows don't overwrite the yellows, so forth, then we will be in an okay situation where it'll be a little bit better. But overall, that's the verdict on Ctharrasque at the moment. Absurdly good when he chooses to be. I would still definitely make sure to craft it. I would definitely say Zuul'Goth first. Power Orb order, I would probably say this is second. So there are currently 3 things that require Power Orbs in the game. Only 3. And the only things you should ever spend Power Orbs on is spending them on a troop is useless. Zuul'Goth, still highest priority. First thing you should ever use your 8 Power Orbs on. Second priority, probably Ctharrasque now. Has a lot of utility. The whole reason you would end up getting the other thing is because of Curse, and he already has Curse anyways. So I would say definitely second craft. And then third would be Enraged Carindera. Enraged Carindera, still really good, still very situational, but in those situations, really nice. I would say the biggest benefit of Enraged Carindera is actually for defend teams, for 2 reasons. One is as invulnerable. It's one of only 8 troops in the game that have invulnerable, and of those 8, only 2 that are viable: Leonis Tower and Enraged Carindera. We saw Tower earlier, one of those teams, and this is the other one that's really viable currently, though of course more might exist in the future. But it does have that curse. It has that automatic curse, so on AI teams that might not, get mana quick enough, you'll just automatically end up getting your curse. But he does have a little bit too high of a mana cost. If anything, Ctharrasque should be the one with 35. But he does get a lot of damage down. Has like a full AoE that's boosted ratioed quite a bit if you have a lot of Doom Skulls on the board. But overall, I would say he's the most situational of the 3. Especially because normal Carindera is pretty similar to this guy. Not exactly, but like close enough that if you have normal Carindera, you're not really looking anytime soon to get Enraged Carindera. Whereas both Zuul'Goth and Ctharrasque are very unique. Well, of course, very similar to each other, but not counting each other, they're very unique compared to other troops within the game, and definitely worth considering. But anyways, guys, that's the rundown on him. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave in the comment section below. All the teams we just went over are also down there in the description if you want to go and copy-paste any of them. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.